That's fine. Okay. But it's not, it's in the own interest. There has to be. Yes. Cause it's,
Yeah, you'll be fine, you'll be fine.
no, but it's too quiet. in here.
You said the keyboard guys.
I think look yellow.
There's a yellow hue.
Huh?
There's a yellow hue.
We have John's.
There's a yellow hue.
Hue, H-U-E.
Hue.
That's,
Organic.
that means,
What's that funny?
No, I said it's that's the way if you're in Vietnam.
yeah, it does.
Well, I'm jaundice. We'd have our livers checked out.
You're right too, that it was just like that in the original.
Yeah.
Okay.
You okay with the change?
Did you send that one?
Yeah, I did. I said one with a change, so you can decide whether you want both.
Mike, how old are the hangars that are down there at the airport?
John's.
Like the primary ones that are,
Only the 50.
But I wouldn't be saying.
Probably no, when we got those second hand from what I was told from one of the old Richmond hangars, I think it was. So when they got rid of those hangars, I got, oh, you tree land.
It's in there.
I've gone through, there's a old pamphlet I have at school that I should have, like from the, late eighties, early nineties.
That's nothing.
And it
to
shows,
do.
you know, all the good stuff, and the airport with, back when Willow Rose.
Yeah, they got-
Those hangers are there, so that's at least.
Old.
Right,
Old
so
ones.
that's got me wondering about them.
Huh?
And they're
Probably
insured.
not.
Well, when we went through the insurance this year, I like.
I didn't even- Yeah.
A little bit more.
No, I'm gonna
Yeah,
I'm gonna go see. Okay. And then. Done. Yeah.
So what's Kristen here, what was the cemetery?
It's the. They say. Too much. Fluid, I don't know, I guess it was on our part, cause. We didn't check it. There's two of them.
Yeah.
1600. Is this yours?
Well,
Oh, I think it is, cause he should have.
how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Oh, Brian, they did take our dumpster, so. Wife texted me and said they came and got it, and they dropped off a small one, and I asked them to do that, so.
So what I thought is that I probably some other stuff.
Yeah, we have to put back, anything you want to get rid of, we'll get rid of it.
I need to fix that one feeder and then dump the rest of them in and get rid of that. So
He said here.
they might have been calling us or new names. They didn't even know I was involved.
That's right, there's no paper trail with you on it.
Let's just say you got your money.
Yeah, they didn't, I don't know, what way or anything yet, but they didn't, they took it, didn't call me, so.
Well, they're gonna discount us. They're not. Let's just say that. Good.
Yeah. I don't know, what way or anything.
Renew. If you hear it in the bank account.
He said they was due 21. These little ones at school. I said, well, I'll there's one smaller than that. Parker and see what we want to do. Said they could start in 2-3 weeks.
They don't get-
So,
Yeah.
we get closer to the 3 weeks.
Yeah. So. That's fine with me. Sorry, you will just kind of go quiet for a little bit.
Maybe that'll go between the 20 and the 41.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, close. Susan, I'll be up kind of early, Saturday morning. We're gonna see if we can have any loot fun.
Oh, getting him loaded or about? Yeah.
That grass is pretty green in there, I'm thinking, wanna go in there.
Yeah, yeah.
I hope they work as good next week as they work this last week, as I will.
Yeah. Just walk where you want him to go.
Almost scary.
Yeah.
This day, only operates that for kids. That was it. They all come here, it's the morning. Yeah.
Right. I'm trying to, it's just the thing where we definitely get by, it was. You know, put it in the, usually so to speak.
Very good. Very professional, very good, it's a thing, huh? Makes you feel better.
Yeah, that's either option.
Yeah,
Thank you.
All right. That's a new version of the ordinance, so we want to get rid of that one. Okay. And take it.
Or basically, I wrote out what this Chris,
Yeah.
there was a repair, just saw it. We have one of the town truck service, from the street department, $4,900, all in full service and repairs. What
Turn with the back truck, because we recently sent the street sweeper off, and it's actually going to be even more than that. It's gonna be like 17,000, so I'm pretty sure that's a laid back truck right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's easy. I think it's one, I think it's. No, no, not the one from Warren South Farm, I believe is. Yeah. The apartments that close to the corner. Well, I just one thing that.
I think there's one on the road there, yeah.
And it's one of the bills where what happened.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Because they're wanting us to. You know, it's get some used to it because I think, if it's the one I'm thinking of, take a look and see. It is, and it's what bills. Basically, they use that. It is. I think it's one situation where they call you. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's one. I'll look and verify. But yeah, it's that upstairs apartment there.
That's why, I mean, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Pat?
You're gonna have the lower end. It's at the top, not the
Yes.
big X, but the,
Because
number one. There you go.
Stuff I got, I was actually off council about time.
Okay, I have my favorite.
Yeah, all right, yep.
Yeah, you was good. 40 over.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to.
Yeah, you could- you could
So,
Don't have the.
Yes. Return assignments in on time.
Amen to that.
But yeah, they're tech savvy when it comes to companies for tablets, but they can't just.
Yeah.
All kinds of problems with their own, like, hey, my daughter, they were messing up the other day, and I was like, you have to do this, and she's like, how do you do that? How do you do that?
Well, that's the,
well,
who's,
I have associates and get our computers.
oh, so that's somebody
PDFs and
here
notes, but
calls in.
Save them, but they don't save everybody.
Yeah,
It's there for the folder on the
So,
computer.
just.
They don't know their folders, I just create a folder to put all the, you know, I don't even know when they save a file, how to, you know. save it.
Yeah, that.
Save it as an untitled document
Right
somehow.
there.
So did they do it later?
I just came to the meeting.
Did they do it
Make sure we
later?
were
Computer
taking my same.
For a large part, it's more career technical and there's a drive to.
We have money to teach it
Science,
right now in
yeah.
high school. They do something that's interesting.
You can still have that. Smoke it. How do you get written information?
Yes, please.
Come on. She's not gonna come with that grades. I'll do a sworn. Up there.
Well, I mean, we get a letter every year from the state attorney that, I mean, we still can't use that, even though nobody, I mean. Gosh, that's the last thing you want to do in the media age today.
I mean, I'll send you a cupcake.
Some students are, you know, they're living that, yeah.
Yeah, he comes in with a brown shirt.
Orange and yellow.
Call the meeting to order, would please stand and follow the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, yeah, the notes.
He's on.
Everybody had a chance to review the October 6th public hearing and regular meeting and October 6th work session minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
So properly moved and seconded that we approve the public hearing, regular meeting and work session minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Okay, under public comments, first we have the Heart of Hagerstown. Here's
So Heart of Hagerstown, we've had Fall Festival a month ago. And it went over successful, when nobody had any major problems or complaints. You know, we need to work on traffic pattern, crossings a little bit better with people in and out of Main Street. We grow it, we've got some other options there. I think we have some pedestrian crossing signs that at one point we used in the middle of Main Street. Is that right, Chris?
We have some, yeah.
You know, then we need to probably put out next year just to slow traffic down a little more coming in. And maybe we can try to put a sign up at the end of the town so they know what's going on. Hometown Christmas, maybe has that under control. I work with Keith. I think Keith's gonna go over some of that with you guys tonight, what we're doing there from a street and closure perspective. Other than that, it's about what I got.
Thank you, sir. Next we have Hometown Christmas, Sandy Campbell.
Yeah, well, I just came from a meeting and we just thought it would be nice and kind of had a little bit of a rundown of what the plans were for that day. The activities will be from 9 in the morning to the lighting will be about 15 minutes after the parade's over, so that's probably close to 8:30 at night. We'll start out with the Christmas bazaar and the dancing and all that down at the school from 9 to 3, and then all the activities will move downtown from 4 to 7, which we have warming stations, a lot of different, all the stores will be open. A lot of different craft things. We have carriage rides going on. We have a live reindeer. We have several different things. Then the story hour up here is from 5:30 to 6:15. As far as street closures, I think he's gonna talk about that, but we're requesting to have this half block right here between the library and the park be closed, just because we have so much activity going through there at that time. The Boy Scouts wanted me to report that they will be putting the luminaries out again, up and down the streets, and then they will be serving between 4 and 7 with cookout orders. And there's also the choir singing and the bells are ringing and, you know, all that stuff, so. The parade route is planned to be the same as what we did last year, so we'll just need, like, we talked about having barricades on the side streets of Washington Street and having somebody up across my house right there where Downton Pike comes in, just to make sure that people are aware that we have a parade going on. We'll have to do something there because we had a few people that came in that way during the parade last year. And parade will start at 7 from, I always call it my corner. So that's where the parade will start at 7 o'clock and proceed down through. We usually have about 30 entries, so it's about half hour, 45-minute parade. And then we'll end up here with the lighting. Not sure the day of decoration, but we do want to get it so it can get started and turn on the day after Thanksgiving.
And December 6th is. the
Yeah,
day, right?
December 6th. Any questions or?
Thank you, ma'am. Any other public comment? Seeing none, first up, we have a sewer refund credit for 550 North Sycamore. Julie, everybody should have a copy of that.
Yeah, Gretchen figured it, the $93.39, sewer, that would be a good one.
Are we gonna refund in the past that address, you know?
I make a motion that we give a refund for $93.39 to the address of 49 East College Street.
550.
You can do that.
I was just looking at, yeah, how about 550 North Second?
I will second.
So
Trying to give you a refund, Julie.
probably moved and seconded that we approve sewer refund in the amount of $93.39 to 550 North Sycamore Street. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Done.
Oh.
I snuck in on you.
Next up for us, we have the facility charge, and Brian, I think that was, you want to call for the $5 service charge on our.
Yes, we, earlier in the summer, when we started the water project and we looked at, we knew that all the citizens was going to get an increase in the water. But one way that we thought we could help those was to eliminate that $5 charge that we've had for the lights that has helped repay the lighting down Main Street. And we talked about that. I thought we agreed we was going to do that, but we've never made a motion. We never got to that point where we've given Julie the okay to go ahead, and it takes what, Julie, probably 2 billing cycles to get that off the bill, probably. Yeah, so if we can do that tonight, hopefully by January, the first of the year, then all the residents will see that $5 charge go off of the bill that's been to help, it didn't do it, but kind of help offset some of the cost of the lights down there. Just for everybody's reference, to get those lights put in place, actually AEP loaned us the money to put all those lights down Main Street, and then we've been paying them back. Julie, we got probably what, 3 more
I
years?
think it's 29.
Oh, 4 more years, and then all that will be paid back on the lights. And so this was just kind of to offset some of that interest charge and cost of paying back that loan to put the lights in. So a little reference of what happened. I don't know, Chris, how many years have we had them in?
I believe it went in 2018. I believe was the year.
So I would, can we make a motion or do we have to?
No, I think you could make a motion to take that off the billing.
So I'd like to make the motion that we take that $5 electric charge for the lights that the residents see on their bill every month and just take that off. And then that will help them on the water increase that we had earlier in the year.
I'll second that motion.
So properly moved and second that we remove the $5 facility charge to the billing statements. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Carries. Next up, everybody's had a chance to review the cooperative firefighting agreement between Town of Hagerstown, Jefferson Township. We'll introduce this copy tonight. The township has a copy of that. Chief, did you see anything out of the ordinary when you reviewed that?
Good. You have, I've had this question for a while, and I think I've asked it. The money that comes in from the township on their share, that's the firefighting agreement, where does that money go to? Because it doesn't come to me or my budget, that I'm aware
Within the
of. Does it go to
general.
General fund or?
Yes,
Yeah, it goes to general.
But then that's somewhat earmarked from our end is that it's for, you know, it's in general.
Picking up the trucks, equipment costs and repair costs are gonna go up, so. It would be good to have that in our budget. Or do I have to make a special recommendation?
Well, I gotta ask you a question. So, the budget, the firefighting budget, it comes out of the general, right? So, Rick, I guess what, I know you're gonna have more maintenance and things like that, so, I would, next year, we'll take care of you. But next year, when you're looking at your budget, you probably need to increase some of the maintenance costs and stuff. Because you are taking on more trucks, but haven't we always paid all the insurance and stuff?
yes.
Yeah, so the insurance, we've always paid that. Have they,
But it'll probably go up
Yeah.
over.
they go up a little, so the maintenance, have we maintained all the trucks in the past? The town has?
Yeah, but it was over, like in the township, it was over a certain amount, they were responsible for paying that on the old agreement.
How often did that happen, do you know?
It was over $2,500 or higher, the township was required to pay for the maintenance on their trucks.
Do you know how often that happened?
Or
You know how often that happened? Like in a
very little,
year?
really. Anything was put tires on the tanker one year, which was,
But Julie, the township has always gave us a payment every year. That's always went in the general. So that'll be the same way, Rick. I would just tell you, when you do your budget next year, you might look at some of your costs in 2026 and then adjust to meet that.
we got a little share from Dalton Township too. Not much, but it's.
Yeah, more. And then town website.
Oh, are we gonna introduce them?
Well, we don't, it's just a verbal, no, because it just requires my
Oh,
signature,
oh,
so it's not, yeah.
Nothing too crazy. Since our last meeting, I made contact with the Indiana Office of Technology. They've created our site map, which is basically they take what our current website is and they copy, paste it into an Excel sheet. So then I need to go through the site map and see, you know, what exactly, what we need to keep in there, what we want to take out. And I talked to Julie, and they're compiling a list of things from the current website that they want updated, changed, deleted. And they're just gonna get back to me on that. And just for the people out in the public is so that, we got contacted by our current internet or website provider. They wanted to revamp our website. The Indiana Office of Technology Learn offers a free website for government entities. So that saved us probably a good chunk of money going through them. So hopefully that'll be up within the next couple of months.
Next up, what do we have from your desk, Tom?
So 415 North Plum, I talked with Tom just a little bit before the meeting. There is some progress there. I guess Mr. Kyle Tom reached out with an update. The windows, I think, are in. Is Tom back there?
Yes.
Okay, there you are. I think the windows he reported have been delivered and supposed to be installed maybe this week. So there is progress, not moving nearly as quick as anybody would like, but there is progress there. Norfolk Southern, I'm reviewing Chris's report. Looks like he may have an update there. I don't want to steal his thunder, but sounds like we're thinking about moving the spur a different direction.
Correct, yeah.
And then that would allow us to raise the grade and.
Pay for the current score, yeah.
Right, so that's probably, I mean, realistically, I think the best solution for everybody. I did find, I think I sent all you guys an email about it, some language that would allow us to potentially come up with a plan and give Norfolk Southern a chance essentially to do that, or we could potentially do it and charge that. So I've got a colleague researching that to see what our process would look like. But we essentially have to come up with an engineering plan to say, here's the problem, here's what we want to do. And we can't interrupt train traffic. That'd be the other rub there. So we'll work on that and see what we can come up with there. And then the trailer ordinance, worked with the chief a little bit before the meeting. I think we have a version that he is happy with. That's up there on your desk. Essentially, keeps a lot of the same language, but as far as a trailer, says that a trailer can only be parked on the street for loading or unloading purposes only. Any type of trailer, regardless of length, type, any of that. And still keeps the language in there about if it's on private property, it's gotta be on a paved area because of the issues you've had with, beliefs of utility interruptions with heavy trailers being parked in people's yards. So I don't know if the chief wants to say anything else on that.
No, you covered it. I was fine with it. I think that gives us the authority to address any issues, that we will come across dealing with the trailer.
So what do you need for the ordinance?
Anybody have any questions from the crowd first? Do we know what number ordinance this is, Julie?
Yep. Be 16.
16. Chief, is there any, I mean, do you need this right away or can we introduce it tonight?
No, that's fine. I wanted to say too, in regards to trailers, I don't want the community to think that somebody pulls up front of their house with a trailer, and it's out there for an hour, whether taking care of something in the house, that we're gonna be hiding behind a bush, waiting to run out and issue them a citation for it. Generally, what this ordinance will allow is the problem areas we have, the people that just park there like it's a normal car and that's its normal parking spot, or, camping season's over, so they bring their camper there for the winter. That's more what this is. Like I said, I don't want people to think that, we're wanting this ordinance so that, we're gonna, like I said, run right out just as soon as it's parked there. We use good discretion, but this gives us the authority to actually act on it when we have somebody that just doesn't want to cooperate.
So with that, I need a motion to. Okay, I'll wait.
I'm making it a motion that we adopt ordinance number 2516, an ordinance to restrict the parking of certain vehicles on streets, alleys, and roadways within the town of Hagerstown, Indiana, as set forth in chapter 75, parking schedules, title 7, traffic codes of the town code and of the town of Hagerstown, Wayne County, Indiana.
Is this a new ordinance or just an amendment to the ordinance?
It's an amendment. It's basically revising the current code that's there, changes the language.
So properly moved and seconded. You want to introduce or adopt? To adopt, we have to suspend. Introduce. Ordinance number 2516. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Anything else, sir?
I think that's all I have tonight.
Liaison reports, Parks and Recreation,
We'll meet next Monday.
Police Department, Keith.
Few things, trick or treating went great as usual. Town was packed as it always is, but we had no issues. I think it was, another great event for the community. Another thing I wanted to bring everybody up to date on is spoke with NDOT about 2 months ago, and they did a study through town looking at if our current speed limits, et cetera, signage going through town needed updating, changed, et cetera. Well, they reached out to me a couple weeks ago and said that they have made what they think the changes need to be. And I concur with them. I like their plan. And basically what that plan is going to be is beginning at the Legion coming east into town, the speed limit is going to change, and it's going to be 45 mile an hour instead of 55 from the Legion. They said Turnpike, which I believe they're talking the split. At Turnpike, it's going to turn into 25 mile an hour, and that's going to continue all the way through town to the other side of the bridge right before Precision. And at that point, it'll turn to 35 mile an hour all the way to State Road 1. And then coming into town, it will be 35 from going west, 35 mile an hour from State Road 1 to the bridge, 25 all the way back to Turnpike, and then it'll jump back to the 35 out to the Legion, 45 to the Legion, and then back to 55. They're also going to reposition several of the signs to make it easier to tell what the speed is. They also said that it'll be a couple months down the road before they actually get through the whole process to begin changing that. They will do some advertising on their websites, etc., trying to make people aware of the changes. There'll also be, according to them, some temporary signs that'll be putting up to make people aware for kind of a little grace period that, hey, we've had these changes until people get used to it. But I think overall it'll be a good thing, because especially on the east side of Sycamore, there's a lot of confusion there with the speed. So now this will be pretty defined, and it will slow a lot of the traffic down, at least through our downtown area, which, you know, we have a lot of pedestrian traffic, et cetera. So I think that'll be a good thing, because it'll get the traffic slowed down farther out of each side of town before it gets into the downtown area. Anybody have any questions about that? When I hear back from them, more of a date that'll come into effect, et cetera, I'll let you know. But he said probably looking at a couple months out before they go through the whole work order process for that.
Did they release the data to you, Chief?
What's that?
Did they release the data and the type of study that they did?
No, they didn't base it off of data. Way I was explained was they did it based on comparable communities and how their zones were and their experience.
Okay, so there, no study was done then, no,
No actual study of the traffic.
Okay.
Speed, adjust the actual area, based on how other communities were set up.
okay, thanks.
Yep.
Is there any information on the possibility of readjusting the automatic traffic signals coming off of Main Street onto Main Street? There seems to be quite a bit of delay in a couple of the intersections when there's no traffic to intercept or stop. That seems to be unnecessary delays.
When I speak to them again, I can have them look, take a look at that and see if that's an adjustment thing, but that's something I haven't talked to them, spoke with them about, and they control that. The next time I speak with them, I'll have them take a look at that.
Thank you.
Keith, and then,
Yes.
what are your plans on notifying residents? I know NDOT will do stuff, but do you have any plans? I assume?
We'll do the same thing using our social media to try to get that out. I'll probably reach out to Western Wayne News and see if they will also put something out on that when it comes. And, obviously I'll speak with officers too, and we'll be understanding for a while till people get used to that. 'Cause I understand, that's been that way for many, many years, and that's not something overnight people are gonna just adjust to. So we'll work to make sure that we give the community enough time, to get used to those changes.
Thank you.
Next thing, what she discussed with the Christmas parade, the other, road closure that I was made aware that they're wanting to do is Main Street, or, South Washington from Main to Walnut Street to allow safe, access for the carriage rides to come in and out. But it won't hinder access to, in and out for the ambulance service there. And they're also, have reached out to the owners of Dell's to make sure they're fine with all that. We did discuss the Washington Street. I think what we'll probably do is, use some cones along them side streets instead of the actual big barriers. Use some cones, kind of block that off during that till we get going, but that should help with keeping cross traffic out. And as far as police department, we're pretty much just gonna treat it like we do on Jubilee Day Parade, as far as manpower wise, how we have everything set up. And I will get with, the street department when we get closer to that. They are also wanting to do no parking along Main Street. I had it wrote down. Believe it was 4 to 8 p.m. just in the main part to kind of, just keep a lot of people from traffic, to give access to pedestrian stuff to stand there like we do Jubilee Day. So they'll put up the same no parking signs basically that we use for Jubilee Day. Just try to deter, a lot of vehicles from being parked there. All I have on that, if anybody has any, 5 to 8 p.m. was the no parking on Main Street, I'm sorry, 5 to 8. I was able to read the news. And the only other thing I had was, it was a typical month for us. We had 205 calls for service through the dispatch center, so that's about our normal month. Other than that, that's all I have.
Any questions? Thanks, sir. Fire department, Rick.
October was quite a busy month for the fire department. We had our fire prevention at the elementary school. Also, we had the trick-or-treaters come over to our department, which we always have in the last several years, giving away blow necklaces for the kids, which we gave away around 600 of them this year. It was, like he said, it was a lot of people in town that night, and I think everything went really well. So, finished the month of October with 30 calls. That's the most we've had for quite a while. And I gave you a rundown on our report on what runs they were. So the station up here. You guys want to come over sometime and look at the kitchen, it's been completed. Chili dinner is Saturday from 4 to 7. Veterans eat free. So, I do want to thank a couple of guys, and Brian and Joe, that spent a lot of the evenings and weekends up there working on that. Brian Flooring from Richmond, they donated all the flooring for the kitchen, so no cost to us. And, John McCormick did all the plumbing work for us too. Done time, and so that saved us some money there. Our apparatus, I did receive a quote, from THL for Richmond to put heavy duty springs under the rear of the grass truck. You got the cost of that. I did go ahead and talk to Brett, had him give me the okay to go ahead and get them ordered. I thought that was a pretty reasonable cost there, because it definitely needs it, so. And, then you did take care of the township agreement, so. Still down a couple people. Always looking for some good help, so. You know, anybody, Sandy, if you want to be on the phone.
My husband says I'm on everything else.
What's fine?
Chris, is the one call system, that'd be something you could rent something out about their chili?
We could, yeah. You want to, Brett, or do I put something on the one call for the chili dinner?
That'd be great.
Yep, we can do that.
That might also be a good way to let the town know about the speed signs.
That's
that go
what-
into effect.
Yeah, I was wondering if we should be fine. Okay.
Any questions? Thanks, sir. Airport board.
Nothing to report.
Advisory Plan Commission.
So we met on the 21st. Tom continues to focus on properties that maybe don't look the very best. He's working on those, getting those, people get their properties cleaned up. Back a couple months ago, there was some concerns brought up about the 400 block of East Main Street, with some grading and stuff like that. I think that was the right word, grading, right? The 400 block of East Main.
Yes,
Um,
that's still in the hands of FEMA and DNR to make the final determination. I did touch base with them. That's still ongoing. It's not a fast process. They don't expect to be expect to have any issues, but we're waiting for their final blessing.
Awesome. I think it was a couple months ago still, there were some issues on Baker Road, with the sidewalk. Bunch of foliage and stuff was covering the sidewalk. So the street department went and cleaned that up. So I want to make sure we thank them for that, because I'm sure the kids appreciate it. There was some conversation, I don't know if tonight is necessary to bring it up, but some conversations about the data centers that have been popping up, and John probably knows a lot more about it than we do, but it kind of started off in Hancock County. They got denied over there, it moved to Henry. I don't know where that stands over in Henry, but and I should have looked and I didn't, to see where the next kind of larger pipeline is for natural gas. I think that's kind of where they try to focus at. From my understanding, we have one close. So the assumption is if Henry County says no, we would be the next one in line if, you know, if it follows that path. So, I don't know if John wants to put any thought into that at all, or.
I mean, I can tell you what the status is over there. The planning commission met, they tabled it. Wanted 30 days to go visit a data center. That was supposedly gonna be comparable to what's going to be built. Believe it's November 20th, they get back together, potentially to decide, and then the planning commission would go, believe, to the commissioners after that. So the commissioners could either follow the recommendation or do something different. It's been somewhat controversial, at least what the developers are saying. I mean, they're trying to, I think, cover all the right things. They're committing to no wells being drilled on site. They're gonna generate, their power on site, which is why they need the natural gas pipeline. Gonna build their own power plant. According to them, there's probably some truth to it, you know, Google, Amazon, whoever will just write checks as they need to put these things in. So I don't know where it'll end up. A lot of people for it, a lot of people against it, so.
And Chris or Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, I think, at least from what I understood from the stance of our plan commission was that we would have no interest in having a data center in the town of Hagerstown. Or within the 2 mile fringe.
I think we wanted to evaluate what the 2 mile fringe would allow to have or not to have.
Yeah.
I guess one of the big issues that was brought up to us that we need to be more informed about is, it takes a lot of cooling, to cool them, centers because they're pulling so much electricity through them constantly. So it has caused some issues with, sucking a lot of municipalities' water supply away from them, from the residents. I'm assuming that's why they say they're not gonna drill a well and try to keep away from that, so. Last thing we want is a data center and then the residents have no water to drink. Would be a concern, so we're going to evaluate it a lot more and try to understand it. It's been brought to us to understand it and then bring a recommendation to town council. So I think that's where we kind of stood on that, looking at the 2 mile fringe and I don't really think we have a place in the city limits for them to even put it. So it would be a 2 mile fringe that we would have to somewhat evaluate what we're gonna do there.
So Henry County, and I know it's not necessarily apples to apples, but they're calling it a closed loop system. So I think somewhat geothermal, so they would have a fixed amount of water and it would circulate down, you know, however many feet to cool, and just so they would not be continuously drawing water either from wells or from municipalities, is my understanding. And then that site over there is around 600 acres. Now the actual data center will not be that big. They're planning, they are developing it as they're calling it a technology park. So they would have other similarly situated type businesses potentially there, but you know, you're gonna need probably, or at least 100-acre parcel for the data center of any size would be my guess. I'm not directly involved with it, just really as an interested citizen, and it's the opposite corner of the county from me, which is okay, so.
Other than that, I have nothing else to report.
Oh, I think that we are going to look, Tom asked us to look at the fines for, what's that for, Tom, that you thought was a little excessive?
Yard waste.
Yard waste, yeah.
Yeah, that's a chapter 92 having to do with rubbish and things like that in your, on your property, on your lot. And the stratification for the fine was the first day was 500, the second day was 1,000, and the third day was.
It was something astronomical.
If you didn't immediately take care of the issue, so I've sent out a notice to a particular property owner for these issues. And I took the liberty of adding up to $500, up to $1,000, and up to $1,500, and then each day thereafter. So I added up to on 4 different lines in this letter that I just recently sent out to allow a little bit of grace and it not seem quite so absurd. But officially changing the ordinance, we haven't really had any input on adjusting what the legality of that is.
So we're gonna take a look at that and try to get that a little bit more manageable for Tom.
Got close to the gap somehow.
So,
Thank you, Ryan.
yeah.
Anything else? Chris, your report, of course.
First of all, I'd like to just really thank Michelle Huntington for putting on a really fantastic fall festival. And also want to thank Sandy for working on a Christmas festival and the people who have done the Jubilee Days, because trying to do any kind of event like that is huge endeavor for anyone to pull off, and they've all done a really good job with it. And also our, flower pots downtown on Main Street, I want to give, Clint Metcalf and Gary Schutte thanks for that, because the town, we purchased the flowers and our own crews usually install those as they do the Christmas decorations and any other decorations we have. The, Clint primarily and Gary have been maintaining those for the last couple of years, and trying to keep those alive and looking good throughout the summer is a huge, job. So I just really want to give them credit for that. So back to us at the wastewater treatment plant, we had a, sewage backup on Sycamore Street, and unfortunately it flooded the residential basement and the church basement. But we have had Serv Pro come in and professionally clean those up. So that wasn't very fun. That's just this past week. Crystal from the wastewater treatment plant is working on our Christmas decorations, trying to get all those ready for the flower pots. We have an Army Corps of Engineer inspection tomorrow for our levee. The water department, water installation is running smoothly and effectively. I'll let, Bob speak a little bit more on that. What do you see, Bob? Yeah, do you want to talk about that, Bob?
Sure, but as far as the water line goes, all of the water mains are completed except for actual tie-ins to the existing lines. But they have, well, the ones on the south side, the water mains have been pressure tested and they've taken samples, and those have all passed. The ones on the north side, we haven't done that yet. The next phase then is all the ones on the north side that are in, it's just getting to that next phase, pressure testing and then doing the bacteria testing. Right now, they're working on services. They started back down on Factory and Perry and are working their way north on Perry. So they're completing the tie-ins to each homeowner's, well, they're adding pits where there aren't pits. So they'll be all exterior. Most all, there's still one or two that we're just tying into the line, but typically there'll be pits. And then once those are in, then they'll be cutting off and capping the old lines, taking those out of service. They're hoping to get through all the mains or all the services so that we can get it paved, but that window is closing quickly. Although if we still have 50-degree temperatures, they'll still be able to. So we just have to see where that goes. And the work on the booster stations, they're getting all the materials together at present, so that those updated as soon as we can. Any questions?
Appreciate all the hard work you're doing.
It's been fun.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've had quite a few complaints about the streets, and we're just trying to fill in, and we're just having to endure it and get through it, I guess. So that's the best we can do. Electric department, we do have our Graceland Heights underground electric project going. We have just about all of the soil boring done. They're working on a new service line installation for a new house up on Lacey. AEP has not contacted me, unfortunately, regarding any potential MISO capacity rate offers. So it's kind of a little bit of a concern, as we all know. Streets department, we will be picking up leaves through early December. Brittany's been assisting me with our street asset management plan, which is something that we have to have each year that we turn into NDOT, which determines our eligibility for the community crossings grants. We do have the additional signs for the railroad crossing. We have not put those up yet. She's called locates. I think that's done now, so they should be up tomorrow or Wednesday. As John touched on, I have talked to our local Norfolk and Southern track operator, and he has said that they are considering reversing the spur to where it will come off on and off of the west side, which would be good if they would do that. I really tried to reiterate to him that we need a quick solution, that's going to keep semi-trailers from getting chopped in half and people stuck on the tracks. We need a very quick solution, and then we also need kind of a long-term plan as to how we incorporate that as a better pedestrian crossing down through there, that kind of thing. So we are working on that. It's definitely not going as quickly as I would like for it to go. And I've also got down there, we do have, if that's something, I've brought this up a couple times, possibly exchanging our property that we own for another property that's on Main Street. I don't know if you guys want to talk about that or bring it up for a work session or what.
Can we even do that yet?
We can. I did call about it and we can. We're right at that threshold.
We're at the threshold now where we've owned it long enough.
Correct. It's been a green space for 5 years now. Seems hard to believe.
I have a question.
Sure.
The sewer backup down here on College Street. What was different about that one than ones we've had in the past that prompted the town to pay for root cleanup?
So 9 out of 10 sewage backups are caused by the service line or the line between the street and the house getting backed up. Occasionally there are situations when it's the town sewage line that gets backed up. And this was definitely a situation where it was backed up pretty much from Main Street all the way up to elementary school.
Okay. Do we have any provisions in place? Because now that the town's done this, the next time somebody has a basement flood with sewage, you're gonna expect the town to clean it up.
One thing we have always told the property owners is that they really need to have a backflow preventer installed. And I don't, to my knowledge, that's never been codified, and we really need to get that codified. So, yeah.
Just curious.
Yeah.
I assume that was done by roots and stuff like that in the lines.
But believe it or not, a lot of it's a slow flow issue. I think as energy efficient toilets and showers and everything, washers and dryers use less water. If you look at some of the video recording of our sewage lines, it's moving slower than it did 10 years ago. We have had one situation where a piece of the end tile actually broke off into the line, and then that caused a backup that was up on High Street. But a lot of it is just slow flow. And that's one thing we really encourage Crystal and Matthias to really try to get out there and check, check as often as you can, especially in the flatter areas. So
that was my next question. So when I lived on the west side of Richmond, ours always got backed up with roots and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And the city was supposed to go through and, check it, every once in a while in those troubled areas. I don't know if we have those troubled areas where you guys maybe need to make a schedule and say, hey, let's, we're going to check this block, and this block. I don't know if you do that now or not, but maybe to prevent something like that from happening again. I know you can't prevent every accident.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, we're televising, what's the word?
Televising.
Televising it every year, about every.
It's not every year, no. Each line's only getting televised probably every 7 or 8 years. Maybe not even that on some of them. So, yeah.
We have the capability in-house for that though.
We have the capability in-house for short line televising. We can't quite get manhole to manhole. Yeah.
Just about.
Yeah. And that's also becoming an increasingly, if you talk to Crystal, that's becoming an increasingly difficult thing to find is someone who'll videotape. So, yeah.
Can we, where there's less flow, can we inject pressured water into sewage lines and move stuff?
We're not supposed to,
Oh.
but, yeah. I mean, obviously, when we go back and jet back the line, that's what we're doing, but I understand what you're saying, like on a regular basis, can you just flush out
I think that's an odd place to back up, given that you have businesses in the school right there that would generate more.
I agree with that. You would think it was, yeah.
Aren't the lines rather flat up
The
there?
lines on Elm and Sycamore are extremely flat. Yeah. I know when we lived on Elm Street, they were jet backing that probably 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah.
With the additional railroad crossing signs, have we made contact with auto card, maybe letting them know, hey, like, you need to be making your deliveries and those aware that.
They're aware of all of that. One thing that we would really like to change is, and I don't know how you go about this, like with your navigation devices that speak to you, because if a navigation device tells you to go onto South Street, not Washington Street, that's what a semi truck driver is gonna do. They're probably not even gonna pay attention to the signs, And so that's one thing I wish we could change.
Could it be possible, maybe like contact Google Maps and see what the process is to do that?
Yeah, I guess we could give that a try. Yeah, give that a try. It's definitely something new for me to figure out. Yeah.
So, is there a possibility, Chris, that you could kind of give us a mock-up illustration, what you would hope the little Veterans Park would look like if we so chose to exchange properties there?
Yeah.
Is that a big legal hassle to do that?
To exchange the properties, I'd have to look at what we would have to do process wise, but from a actual transfer process, it's just swapping deeds essentially. So that would be easy, but I don't know what we need to do to make sure it's a fair trade and all that.
I think that'd be a nice spot for, we'd have to, of course, get the adjacent property owners permission, but it would be a nice spot for some murals, commemorating armed forces and some flags and some little monuments, that kind of thing. I think it'd be a neat spot for it.
So I guess the other thing I'd say is maybe we need to see if the neighbors would even want it there and if that's gonna be an issue and maybe try to get some of those things
Yeah, I
out of the way
could
before we make a decision.
Okay.
So this is a trade of our lot, which is the old Tri-County building property, for the lot that's next to Dale's Pizza,
It's the
right?
Park Cafe location, correct? Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking, what's the name? It was the Sidewalk Cafe, right? Isn't that the?
Sidewalk, I think, was at Ed Robbins over here,
Right.
and then this is Bookmark, the Bookmark Cafe, yeah. Yeah.
Nothing further? Julie, what do you have from your desk for us?
So there's 3 invoices that need approval for the water project. So we have, Bob's invoice for 5,800. Then we have Earthworks for $447,513.70. And then the outstanding from the DS engineering, 29.
Did we ever get an answer back on those permitting fees?
We didn't, because I sort of held off because we don't know what our final damages might be, so we can't really settle with them or anything at this point. Because if we end up having to delay paving and if that increases the total cost, and if we can point to that permit failure, then that was kind of my thought, so.
Do we still table it or do we pay it and just wait till later?
No, you don't pay that, you'll never get it back.
Yeah.
But let me do this, I will send him an email tomorrow and say that you've tabled the payment of the invoice based on issues with permitting work and that we're waiting on, and then see if that sparks any discussion or response.
And then on the big bill here with Earthworks, I'm assuming Bob and Chris, you looked at the bill over and everything that they billed us for is accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
We will need separate motions for,
I think we've done it.
That's it. Yeah, it's part of the water grant, so we're just sort of combined.
And the BNS is still tabled, so as long as you don't
Yeah.
take it off the table, you just would have the ones that Julie's introduced tonight.
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we, give Julie the approval to pay the bill that's come from Earthworks that, Bob and Chris have reviewed and approved. And then also the Warner Engineering invoice for $5,800 as well.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded that we approve the earthworks payment in the amount of $447,513.70 and Warner Engineering LLC at $5,800. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Anything else? Next regular council meeting will be Monday, December 1st at 6:30. Town hall will be closed Tuesday, the 11th, right? And then Thursday and Friday for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, the chief has something.
Zoning board meeting coming up on the 12th. I'm still down one member. So we're supposed to have 5 and we've only got 4. So,
Which type of member is that?
our
Which type of member is that?
zoning board,
Yeah, like which, is it appointed by council or is it?
that. I think it's pointed, it would be, Brad Robinson took Chris's spot. It was appointed by the town president.
Is that from the 2 mile, do we need, is it balanced between the 2 mile fringe and in town still, or is that?
Pardon?
Is it balanced between the 2 mile fringe and in town? Because we have to have representation from.
We've got 3 that live in town, and Brad does that, Brad's in the 2 mile range. So it'd probably be, from the 2 mile bridge.
Cause that's what we changed it to.
Sure.
Yeah, we changed it.
Yeah.
It used to be 4 in, 1 out,
Yes.
but we have so many more cases in the 2 mile fringe.
Yeah.
We changed it from 3 in and 2 out because it just, we have a lot more coming in on the 2 mile fringe than we actually do the town, so we made that change.
Does anyone have any recommendations?
Pardon?
So does anyone have any recommendations?
No, I've been talking to people looking around and I can't get anybody that wants to do it.
I assume that's a appointed volunteer position.
Yeah, but they only meet, what, a handful of times in a year?
Yeah, we only have, I think this year we've met, 4 times.
Well, the 4th one coming up.
So it's not like we're meeting 3 or 4 times a month.
Okay.
So. But some of the meetings can get a little hairy when people want something rezoned and the people that live next to them don't want it rezoned.
And when's your next meeting again? I'm sorry.
12.
Everybody had a chance to review claims as presented?
Move to approve.
Second.
The properly moved and seconded that we approve claims as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
The properly moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed?
Please, John.
Yeah. Chris.
You look at those five.
Guys.
I'll ask during the.
See what.
Where is the